Percy Jackson's half-brother Tyson is making his debut in the second season of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. But as you may know, Tyson is a Cyclops, which means that he has one giant eye. And we have to talk about the process that the actor and the VFX crew went through to make this possible. What's really interesting about the way that they filmed this is that Daniel Diemer has said that they didn't actually change anything about the way that he was on set. So he didn't have to wear any VFX dots or anything to track for the crew, and he was able to show up and act without any sort of prosthetics or anything that might have made the process awkward. It also meant that the other actors were able to interact with him normally, and that there weren't any sightlines for those actors that they had to change. But there were two parts to this process to make this realistic. First and foremost, when Daniel was prepping for this role, he worked with an acting coach to think about the way that his sightline would change and how that would affect his physical movements. So while he was working on understanding what this would feel like, they actually put on glasses with blinders to block his peripheral vision and understand how he would move and what he wouldn't be able to see as he was moving around with one eye. He had to understand how his movement would be a little bit more stilted if he wasn't able to see out of his peripheral vision, and how when he heard something, if he wanted to see it and react, he would have to turn his entire body, not just his head. So before he got on set, he spent a lot of time understanding what those movements would look like, so that even when he was filming and did have his full field of vision, he could move the way Tyson's field of vision would require him to move. And then on set came something that the team would call Tyson time. This meant that after every scene that they shot with Tyson, he would have to answer questions from the VFX team. They asked a lot of questions about his emotional state in the scene. They also would even ask questions about Tyson's backstory and how certain things would have made him feel. And that's because they needed to take everything that Daniel did on set on camera and make sure that the one big eye that they would be changing in post was made so that it was actually in line with the emotions the actor was presenting. This Tyson time thing has come up in a number of interviews, and I hope that we get to see sort of like a filmed version of this at some point. I'm sure someone had a camera on this process, and I would love to see what it looked like to watch an actor really collaborate with the VFX team in real time. I feel like this is one of the more unique instances where you're seeing a conversation between actor and VFX team in the moment, because they've said they wanted to capture everything exactly in the moment to make sure that they didn't miss out on a single emotion and bringing this character to life. Tyson is such a fan favorite, and he's a personal favorite of mine from the books, so I am super excited to see how much effort and care that they've put into this character. You can tell already just from interviews that Daniel in particular really cared about this character, and to hear how much of the process the VFX artists were involved in from the very beginning is really cool. Personally, I think this Percy Jackson adaptation has been such a hit with fans of the books because of how much everyone is involved, because of how much everyone loves the source material, and of course the fact that Rick got to be a part of the process. So just from first looks, because the show's not out yet, how do you feel about Tyson's character and how he's portrayed visually? And are you excited to see him finally make his on-screen debut in the TV show?